Okay, folks, welcome back. And I know I'm going to get some grief for this, but I tried to record the assembly that I was doing yesterday, which is on the main fuselage here. I probably need to bring that up a little bit. There we go, the main fuselage. And I've got a couple of the nacelles here. I was working on the paint, and I still need to work on the paint. But we're going to see what I can do about touching this stuff up. And I'm sorry if I'm breathing heavy and feeling still under the weather a little bit. Adjust the camera down just a little bit. Get you guys a much better view. Okay. Kind of wish I had some music to play for you guys that wouldn't infringe on trademarks or anything. I kind of went a little overboard on the flat blue-gray for the nacelles here. So I'm just touching them up with some flat white. Sharpen up those lines. And of course, I was moving it around and touching it with my fingers with paint on them. So that meant that I got little marks on it. Okay. to set the nacelle somewhere where it can dry without getting paint on everything. Okay. I'll be honest with you, the hardest part of these is the patience to let the paint dry. Because if you mess around with it while it's still wet, just bad things happen, especially when you're dealing with flat white. So, we're going to work on the main fuselage here, because I kind of got a little sloppy, and I need to do some sanding on here to bring the details back out. So I'm using, what am I using here? 3000 grit sandpaper. I found a whole bunch of it on Amazon for like $6. So, not really expensive. And the wife uses it because she pours acrylic resin. Makes keychains, bracelets, rings, all kinds of stuff. And this fine grit sandpaper, 2 sheets of it here, will take off any excess fingerprints from glue, which if you haven't had that happen yet, you haven't been building models very long, because it'll happen on almost every one of them. Okay. There we go. I don't know if this camera is picking everything up or not, but this is the front. Of course, everybody recognizes, well, probably nobody recognizes this part because it's missing the big saucer piece up here and the nacelles back here. But the shuttle bay is done. I was going to cut the shuttle bay open and try to re-engineer it. Unfortunately, it would take a lot of work to be able to get this shuttlecraft into this shuttle bay. It would have to sit quite a ways up in there. And I would imagine that, you know, if it were real, it would be able to sit way up in here. However, because they made it the way they did and sealed this off, I have nowhere to put this shuttlecraft. So we're going to take the shuttlecraft and probably hang it with some fishing line from the saucer section so that it looks like it's, kind of flying off underneath. The wife is still working on finding the micro LEDs that she bought at Dollar Tree. It's a string of 10 of them. But if you look here on the bottom, there's a hole. Now, most of the time you want to cover up holes. However, in this case, the hole is actually to set it on the mounting stand that they gave you. Which also means that under the mounting stand, there is a whole lot of room. And a battery pack for a set of LEDs will fit perfectly in there. Then it's just simply drilling a hole up through this bottom piece of the stand into the top piece. And under there, there's already a clip so that it clips onto... It's really hard to see here. But it... there you go. You can see it's kind of shaped a little funny. The ship actually goes on here because the saucer section is way heavier than the rest of it. And it keeps it in place. But when I'm done, once the wife finds the LEDs, which means I'm not going to be going too much further with this, but I'm going to run LEDs up into the fuselage and into the saucer section that will go up on top here. And of course I've got to drill a couple of holes in the side here. There's one right here and another one on this side. And if you're seeing little hints of blue, that's because some of the blue got trapped in here, but I'll be touching that up with flat white before it goes much further. With those holes drilled, though, I will be able to light the entire ship up. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to do the nacelles, and that's simply because there is literally no space in these struts to run a copper wire. There's no holes, and I can't drill a hole small enough to run it all the way down in here. So we're going to run it through this bottom hole into the fuselage, and then up here, because this also does have a big space here for a line to go through, into the saucer section, and it will light up the whole saucer section when I'm done, as well as the main fuselage here. I have been watching Star Trek 6 over and over again for the last week just to get the lights correct on this. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for right now, and I'll be updating you shortly.